here, and if you want to know how to get your local area schools to better implement or to start implementing the CDC's recommendations on how to reduce infectious diseases at school sites, then please watch this whole video. So obviously, being in education is not my thing. I have worked as a teacher for 2 years in a public high school, but I'm a professional coach. I'm an intuitive healer, leadership strategist, all kinds of stuff. But I know what I'm dealing with, and I have learned a lot, and I'm going to share it with you because it's going to benefit all of us. So why does this matter to you, especially if you don't have kids? Well, let's get a little bit of a reality check of what school sites mean for most communities. They're the unofficial hub, the unofficial center. They impact families, they impact communities, they impact organizations, they impact businesses, and beyond. So what happens at a school site is really impacting you. Now, you might think, well, I don't have kids. Why do I get to say anything? Well, you do. In the United States, if you are paying taxes, then in a particular area, if you own property, then you have a real right to speak up. Also, you have a right to speak up because you've got friends, you've got family members who have kids who are in those schools. And then if you're a parent or guardian, you absolutely have a right to speak up. It's literally your right. So let's get into what you can do. And not only are these suggestions that the CDC is putting forth good for everybody's public health, they also make amazing financial and productivity gains for school sites who implement them. It's fantastic. So let's get going. So how school sites are managed absolutely affects you if you have kids or not. And now, especially with coronavirus and how the current winter 2019-2020 flu and pneumonia season in the United States has been going. It's at a 6.9% death rate. It is, personally, I was wiped out for a week with 104 fever. It was awful. I mean, and that's because I got something from my child. And you all know how it is, how many of us are impacted. Our kid is sick, we've got to stay home, we can't work. Or for those people who it's just so horrible when their kids are sick and they just don't have the kind of support and security net of missing work as an option. So there's a real reason why we need to take this seriously. So frankly, even if you don't care about coronavirus, doesn't matter. This is going to be the new norm. We live in an amazing global society, highly mobile, and frankly, population dense. In the United States, we're quite spoiled about having land and trees, well, for the moment, but a lot of countries just don't have that luxury, and they live a lot more densely, and they have to take more precautions. For example, Japan has closed down all school sites as a way to really control, limit, and manage spread of coronavirus. But let's see what we can do that really encourages good behaviors as a new normal so we can manage whether it's flu or anything else that's coming through our school systems. Let's see here. There's a lot of great reasons why school sites want to implement some of these recommendations, other than the fact that, hey, they're being told by the CDC, this is what you need to do to prepare for the coming potential pandemic. Now, what I have also done is drafted a boilerplate letter that you can use in your own communications. So I'm going to give you first benefits and outline what the letter says. And then I'm going to give you suggestions on how to actually use it. So firstly, the letter says, as a member of the district community, I'd like to know what specifically is being done at the school site level that follows CDC's recommendations to reduce infectious disease. School sites who have implemented these recommendations, they reduce staff, student, parent, and family illness, which has translated into financial and academic benefits. For example, in the United States, you get income when there is a student who attends, and you lose that income when they are absent. So you have increased income from student attendance. You have reduced costs and lost productivity from staff absences. You also have reduced disruptions to the educational process and keeping grades and test scores higher. I mean, this is all great stuff, right? Additionally, there are impacts in reducing sick and forced to stay home parents and guardians and lost community incomes and productivity that's like magnitudes of enormous size of impact potentially. So according to the CDC, there are many recommendations being requested, and here's just a few that are no or low cost. Providing training and required opportunities for students and staff to increase hand washing, training on actually how to wash hands. There's videos on that that could be, sent out to parents. Coaching and training on how to share, how to not share, and touching behaviors. Really simple stuff, and it's just a training thing, not a cost thing. Providing adequate supplies of hand soap, sanitizer, disinfectant wipes in classrooms, as well as encouraged active use. I know one teacher who props open the door so no students have to touch the handles. She squirts a dollop of hand sanitizer in each kid's hands as they enter. They sit down. They have wipes that they can pull out, wipe down the desk. So really great environmental management that she's doing. So, there's ways that this stuff can be implemented, but teachers need the supplies and they also need the permission and encouragement to be doing these great behaviors. There needs to be increased either daily or deep cleaning, disinfectant cleaning at school sites in the evenings. Some school sites are doing this, some aren't. How often? Who knows? Providing a separate waiting area or separate waiting room for students and staff who report they're sick at school, and this is a place for them to wait until they are able to leave the school site. So having a kid who's sick, who's just waiting in the open area where in the office area or where some kids are allowed to wait while they're ill, not the best way. And it doesn't follow CDC's guidelines. Reducing high density assemblies and gatherings during peak illness times or flu periods, or, for example, my own school district just issued, the county issued a warning saying, hey, no more assemblies. I think planning assemblies during high flu seasons, school districts could do more to think about when to time these things. Providing emails with links to CDC's hand washing tutorials. The CDC has a ton of videos and materials and all kinds of stuff on their site that helps with the educational process, so people aren't having to build something from scratch. There's already a ton of things that are plug and play. And again, with electronic media, this is free to disseminate. So there's lots more that CDC is suggesting, recommending, but here's just a few. Obviously, school sites that make this minimal investment in creating a new normal for health management, it's just going to pay for itself 100 times over. And what I just said is basically worded a little more formally in this boilerplate email letter that you can then use for yourself. Now, what's your next step? First off, if you don't already know, which most of us don't, Google your local schools, go to the district website and scrape the emails and contact information of the superintendent, school board president, and your school board representative if it's organized in that manner based on area. Send an email to all three of them. Also, you know, if you happen to be a parent, you can include the principal's email on that. Take this boilerplate email, stick your name at the bottom, and go from there. It's that simple. What you're doing when you send this email or you make that phone call is you, for some people, I know it might be a little nerve-wracking because when I've done this and I've had quite a few different districts conversations, county level conversations, elected official conversations, and some of them were amazing. And some of them were like, wow, this is great. Thank you. Or, oh my God, you're asking us real questions that we're going to have to get back to you. And some were just flat out shockingly hostile. So don't worry about it. If they're elected official, you can vote them out. And if they are a school site or a county level professional, you know what? They've got a vested interest, and they know that you're coming from a good place, and we all care right now. How we work together collectively is going to make a big difference. And by really emphasizing how much this is financially and academically in their best interests to take this action, it just resets the conversation from a paranoid or panic or reactionary mode to, hey, here's a great opportunity that's going to help us as a procedure or a new normal going forward. And it's going to give people permission, whether it is a principal or a teacher or a board member, to increase those conversations that either they're already having or start having conversations that they haven't had quite yet. So it's a good thing. It's you being a leader and encouraging leadership, and it's literally good for all of us. So while this is not my normal job, it's a job I'm doing, and I want to share this with you because it's important, it's valuable, and it's useful. And please take action. Thank you, and have a blessed day.